All right, we're here with Erik Fine from Patriot Law Firm. Erik is here to talk to us about lots of different topics, but the first thing I want to hear about is just a little bit about you, and then specifically, how did you get to be doing what you're doing with your law firm?
Okay, well, that's always an interesting story.
Yeah.
So way back in the day, I went to Mountain Brook High School, grew up in Mountain Brook, and went on to college. I played college baseball at a small community college on scholarship called Kansas City, Kansas Community College. That's where I met my wife. I've been married now 34 years. I have two sons. One's a Marine. The other one is a St. Clair County deputy. And I have two grandchildren right now, and a third on the way.
Congratulations!
Thank you. I'm a proud silver-haired grandpa.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really fun. So I went to school and I got an Associate of Arts degree in law enforcement. I wanted to be a police officer is what I wanted to do. What I didn't know was what I really wanted to do was be a TV police officer.
Oh.
All right, so
Okay.
I did the whole, after college, I joined the Navy. I was a hospital corpsman, a combat medic on the USS Enterprise in Desert Storm, so I did that. Got out and wanted to go fulfill my dream of being a law enforcement officer, to be a police officer. So I became a police officer and made it up to the rank of lieutenant. I was a patrol commander and the traffic commander. And then I just got tired of it. You know, I got tired of law enforcement, and I said, you know what, this is not what I want to do. So I came in one day after a hard, awful shift to Annie, my wife, and I said, I'm going to go to law school. And she said, I'll believe it when I see it. So I said, okay, all right, you want to be like that? You want to challenge me? You got it. You got it. So I went on and I went to Birmingham School of Law at night while I worked in law enforcement on the night shift. And prepared for the bar, took the bar, graduated, passed the bar the first time through, and started. The funny thing is I didn't, because I had done law enforcement my whole life, I didn't really want to do criminal defense. It was the thing that I would do the best because I knew the most about it, because I'd been on that other side.
Right.
I wanted to do something called secured transactions. And I know it sounds awful, but it was my favorite subject in law school. Long story short, it's funny how when young lawyers or lawyers go to law school and they go, I want to be X, I want to practice this kind of law. It doesn't always work out that way. It's funny how it worked out, and how it worked out is it just made more sense at this point in time. It was like, look, I've got 19 years in law enforcement and corrections. And, you know, the thing that would make me the most efficient, the best lawyer that I could be is that which I knew. So I started at another local firm here where we were doing criminal defense and personal injury. And I just really could not stand the whole personal injury thing. You know, everybody thinks they got $1 million case, and you're going up against these big insurance companies, and it was really like a square peg in a round hole. But my boss at the time knew, hey, send Erik to criminal court, because first of all, I knew everybody. I knew judges, I knew prosecutors, I knew other police officers. And what's funny about it is it's not what's necessarily in a police report, it's what's not in a police report.
Oh, interesting.
So I was able to really excel at that and to use my whole previous life to really pick through some things, because I'd been that guy. That had been out there at 2 a.m. dealing with shootings or dealing with burglaries and robberies and traffic stops and DUIs and all of these things. So it was just a natural fit, Anne. So COVID came along in 2020, and I was like, you know what? I'm starting my own law firm. So I start my own law firm. Then everything shuts down. So what I did is, you know, I was able to, the Alabama Bar Association would let us write letters to potential clients as long as it conformed to the certain Alabama State Bar rules as far as, you know, not being solicitation. And so I would sit at home all day and I would write letters going, you know, off of Alicourt and all that to see who had cases. And I had nothing else to do, nowhere to go. So when I would get a response, whether it was in Limestone County, Madison County, Mobile County, Choctaw County, it didn't matter. I went. So I would go and I developed my client base that way. Yeah. So I would be able to go there and really provide excellent services for my clients. So that's how I got started, and that's how it went.
What a great story.
And I wanted to name the law firm. I didn't want to go Erik Fine, LLC or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was like, look, I was in the Navy, law enforcement, all of this, and it just hit me one day, Patriot Law Firm.
It's perfect.
And then it went.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yeah.
And it's been no looking back since.
Well, that's great.
Yes.
Well, let's get into our first topic for this video.
Sure.
Now that we kind of have an understanding of your background and kind of what brought you into this, I think that will help us kind of see where you're coming from and understand more of the experience that you have in this field, which is great.
Yep.
So our first issue we're going to tackle is facing a DUI in Alabama, and specifically the first 10 days.
Excellent point about the first 10 days.
Yeah.
Especially, Ann, with the DUI. So when someone is arrested, they are charged with driving under the influence of alcohol. What a lot of people don't know is there's 5 different types of DUI in alcohol, or 5 different types of DUIs in Alabama.
Okay.
And they're codified in the Alabama Title 13A, A 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if someone gets arrested, the best thing you can do after you bond out of jail is to immediately contact a lawyer.
Okay.
And I'd be the best choice.
Yeah.
So give me a call.
Of course.
I bet you I've made 500 DUIs. I was on the other side of it, okay? So the whole 10-day thing, the reason that 10 days, Ann, is so important in this is when you're arrested for DUI and the paperwork that they give you, if you have an Alabama driver's license, they're going to take your Alabama driver's license. They're going to give you a piece of paper called an AST-60. Okay. And that AST-60 is going to serve as your driver's license for the next 45 days or until court, whichever is first. On the back of that AST-60 is where the 10 days really comes in.
Okay.
Because at that point, you have the right to file a written administrative hearing request, and an administrative review request with the Alabama Department of Public Safety. Now, the reason you want to contact a lawyer right away is, first of all, we got to make sure that you've been charged under the proper DUI section, because if you're not charged under the proper DUI section, I want to get you into court as quickly as I can, because then I can get it thrown out.
Gotcha.
If it's done improperly.
Yeah.
The other side to that, Ann, is after 10 days or during that 10-day period, from the day of arrest, counting weekends. A lot of people may get confused and say it's just business days.
So not 10 business days.
No.
10 calendar days.
10 calendar days. They have to send in a letter, and of course I do this for my clients, if they want, and we can challenge the taking of the Alabama driver's license.
Okay.
Now, if someone from Georgia, let's say, got a DUI in Alabama cannot take their Georgia license. Okay. But what they'll do is they will send a letter to the Georgia Department of Public Safety and say, hey, look, we have reciprocity, which means we'll honor your driver's license regulations if you'll honor ours, and we do with Georgia. So Georgia DPS, Department of Public Safety, will then suspend the Georgia license of the Georgia residents. So really what I'm talking about with these 10 days has to do only with Alabama driver license only, okay? Within that 10 days, if we don't file a letter saying that we want this administrative review and administrative hearing, your license is going to eventually go into suspension. Okay. All right? Now, the DUI laws are very strict in Alabama, all right? And what I see is a lot of first-time DUI offenders who have absolutely no idea. And I'll tell you, I see the most DUIs you would think in the summertime, but believe it or not, it's around Christmas time.
Well, that does kind of make sense.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right? Office parties, you got people who maybe normally wouldn't have a drink, and they get heavy into that eggnog, and the next thing you know, they're driving home, and they swerve over the line, whatever it is, and now their life has changed.
Yep.
So what that 10 days does is it gives me the opportunity not only to file for administrative hearings and reviews, but the quicker that I can get into the case by filing my notice of appearance and representing a client, the sooner I can get what's called discovery or evidence.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
The state or the city, and if I'm, if I'm talking about a city that makes an arrest, it's still considered the state, but because
Sure.
they're enforcing state laws.
Sure.
So, regardless as to who it is that stops you, what I need to know is, where you were when this happened. And did you provide a breath sample? Now, what I will tell people, getting maybe a little ahead, is do not give a breath sample.
You can say no?
You absolutely can. Now, you're going to lose your license if you refuse for 90 days.
Okay.
But that's okay. All right? Because what you don't want to do is give evidence or information against you.
Okay.
Okay? So, they're going to read you what's called implied consent, saying that basically we're going to suspend your license for a period of 90 days or 1 year if this is a second DUI within a 5-year period. So, the DUI laws, and they are incredibly complex. All right? There's a lot of things going on. And, if you've made a poor decision and you've had too much to drink or even enough drink to be considered buzz driving, the legal limit in Alabama is 0.08.
Okay.
All right. Most fatal crashes, believe it or not, happen between 0.04 and 0.07.
Really?
Buzz driving, because people think, oh, I got this. And so they go out and they commit a traffic offense. It doesn't mean that they're driving 100 miles an hour. It doesn't mean they're driving on the other side of the road. It could be something as simple as too wide of a turn. In fact, that's the number one indicator.
Really?
Yes. And of course, because I was in charge of the traffic division and I was a traffic officer and a police officer and I worked night shift because I had little boys.
Yeah.
I got to tell you, it's like shooting fish in a barrel in some places. I mean, I hate to say it like that, but they're out there and they're looking, all right? A DUI can cost you in total, by the time it's all over, upwards of $10,000. And I'm not talking about attorney fees. I'm talking about things that happen ancillary or secondary to that, like not only the suspended driver's license and the reinstatement fees, insurance.
Oh, yeah.
Insurance is going to go up.
Yep.
God forbid there's a wreck involved, okay? Then you have other problems, all right? A DUI is a Class A misdemeanor. And in Alabama, what that means is you could go to jail for up to 365 days.
Wow.
On that. It is a serious misdemeanor. The Class A's of any offenses in Alabama are more serious than the B's, C's, or D's. That's how it works.
Most serious at the top.
Yes, most serious at the top. And the thing about DUIs is I've dealt with DUIs both as a law enforcement officer, but now more specifically as a lawyer, where someone's in a company car. People lose their jobs over these things, okay? And they need a rigorous defense. The first 10 days are really key. The earlier I can get into your case, the sooner I can get that evidence. And the sooner that I can formulate a proper defense.
The better.
The better. So that 10 days, that's key.
So that's really good information about the first 10 days after a DUI. I certainly didn't know really any of that, and I bet a lot of people don't.
Well, call me crazy. You don't really look like the kind of person that would necessarily have everyday interaction with law enforcement.
Best compliment I've had all day.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Tell me about after someone is arrested for a DUI, what are some of the biggest mistakes that they make?
Great question. Not just with DUI. After you're being arrested, and a lot of people think, oh, they didn't read me my rights. Well, here's something maybe you didn't know. If it's a misdemeanor, they don't have to read you your rights.
Really?
Because it's an offense that takes place in the presence of law enforcement, okay? So, if someone is arrested, and if there's further questioning, of course, then, we go into questions of, am I in custody? whatever, lawyers sort that out. But the number one thing, and I preach this over and over and over again to all of my clients, but unfortunately, a lot of times it's after the fact. Shut up and lawyer up. You can be a gentleman, you can be a lady. My advice would be, do not participate in standardized field sobriety tests. Why would you want to give evidence against yourself?
Right.
An officer is going to say, have you had anything to drink tonight? Every time you speak, the scent of an alcoholic beverage is going to come out.
Right.
Okay? Shut up and lawyer up, because nothing you're going to say, really and truly, is going to change the enforcement decision made by that law enforcement officer. Right. But it will affect you in the long run. Now, when I said most of the DUIs have to do with people that have never been arrested before for a DUI, our inclination, our first insight is, well, I'm not a criminal. I want to be helpful. I want to be respectful to the police. Well, when I went to the police academy, and I will never forget this, Ann.
Yeah.
What my instructors would tell us and teach us is, be nice. You're selling prison. And you think about that for a second, because you've been stopped by the government. All right? And their job at 2 o'clock in the morning on this DUI stop is to put you in jail. All right? That enforcement decision has probably already been made.
Yeah.
Don't give any more information than you absolutely have to, because you cannot unring a bell.
Right.
Be polite. Be a gentleman. Be a lady. Do not resist.
Yeah.
All right? You're probably going to go spend the night in jail. The question is this jail you're going to do tonight going to be the last and only jail you do? Or are you going to do something that's only going to make it worse? My advice is, anytime with dealing with law enforcement where perhaps you've done something that you shouldn't have done, be a lady, be a gentleman, shut up and lawyer up. And it's very simple. You can say things like, sir, I appreciate you have a job to do, but at this point in time, I really don't have anything else to say.
Yeah.
And I am in no way resisting, but I refuse a breath test. I refuse to do any type of standardized field sobriety test. And, I'm going to tell you about these standardized field sobriety tests.
Yeah.
There are 3. It's called horizontal gaze nystagmus, which, interestingly enough, is not is not really legal in Alabama. That's with the track with your eyes, because if you drink alcohol at 45 degrees, your eyeballs start to pop horizontally no matter what. Oh. And if you've had drugs, when they do vertical, they'll pop like this.
Okay.
All right? So that lets the officer know that there's alcohol and or drugs on board. All right? Then there's the walk and turn, where you walk heel to toe, 9 steps, very specific instructions. When's the last time you ever walked heel to toe 9 steps? Okay, when you got your driver's license, Ann, did they have you do that?
No.
So, okay. And then there's the one leg stand. Look, I couldn't do that sober.
Right.
Okay? You stand, and you're probably wearing heels, or you're probably wearing cowboy boots, or you're wearing something other than, perfect tennis shoes, whatever.
Right.
And you're going to lift, with your arms at your side, you're going to lift up a leg 6 inches, holding it straight, looking at the toe. Don't use your arms for balance, and count to 30. Let me tell you, in court, in trials, I've had the officer get down to show what these field sobriety tests are. They can't do it.
Yeah.
And then I'll say, well, officer, how much have you had to drink today? So these are techniques that I think make me, because I've done these field sobriety tests, I've been trained in giving these field sobriety tests. Don't give any evidence away. Don't be a jerk about it. Just say, I'd rather not. Thank you very much. You're probably going to spend the night in jail, okay? Okay, you're probably going to jail. But in the end, in 6 months, when this is over, you'd be surprised how much you really have availed yourself.
Yeah.
And as a lawyer, I have tools in a toolbox.
Yeah.
And if you give all these tools away, if you give a breath test,
makes it harder.
Oh, yeah. And then you do standardized field sobriety tests. And you speak too much, and they said an alcoholic beverage, smell. You don't give them the evidence that they need.
Right.
Shut up and lawyer up.
That's great advice.
It is.
Well, this was a great first conversation for us to have. If you or someone you love is facing charges in Alabama, reach out to Patriot Law Firm today.
Please.
Erik Fine is the man for the job. He will be happy to talk to you and find out how he can help. Thank you so much, and I look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you, Ann. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.